Shalom Aleichem, my sweet friends living in tune Chabora. I promised that I'd make this video about physical well-being and how important it is and how to really invest in it. And we said that there are really four aspects of your being. There's physical and emotional and mental and spiritual. And you want to be physically healthy, and you want to be emotionally balanced, and you want to be mentally strong, and you want to be spiritually aware. And we've got to invest in this whole holistic, full being, conscious well-being. And we said that really your mind is the key, because your mind creates your experience of reality, your mind creates your emotions. However, there's a very, very important role that physicality plays in it. Because if you feel physically nurtured, and you feel physically taken care of, and you feel physically strong, and you have vitality, then you'll be more resourceful and less vulnerable, and you'll be more emotionally balanced. Often when we're feeling emotionally imbalanced, it's because we didn't have enough to eat, or we didn't sleep enough, or we're just not feeling well taken care of, so we're not resourceful. And it's actually a mitzvah. There's a mitzvah in the Torah, Ushmatem eyodet nafshotechem. You actually are told you have to take care of your physical being. So this is really the basis. So often we need to be investing in this when things are going not so well in our lives, to be making sure that we're nurturing ourselves and looking after ourselves. So in the class we spoke about the first two ideas from the Mesillas Yesharim, the path of the just, where the Ramchal says that the pleasures of Olam Hazeh, the pleasures of this world, are to give us nachas ruach and yishuv hadas, well-being and peace of mind. So we said there's two ways to do this. Number one is invest in activities that you just find pleasurable, obviously healthy ones. Go for a walk in nature, play some music, do some art, have a hot bath. Do things that actually just make you feel physically rested and that are enjoyable to you, because that helps you be more calm. And the other one we said was invest in calming your five senses, because our five senses are our portal onto reality. So it's being bombarded the whole time. We have notifications from our phones and car horns beeping and people shouting at other people and seeing things that we don't want to see, people not dressed so well, or people fighting, or we see news headlines, so we're really being bombarded the whole time. And if we don't process that and let go of that, it really piles up and builds a bit of stress and tension, even anxiety in us. So we said you've got to guard what comes into your consciousness. Kosher isn't just about what food you put in your mouth. It's about what you're watching, what coming into your eyes, what you're listening to. So firstly, guard. Don't let anything into your system. And secondly, to calm your senses, to actively and consciously calm them. So for example, we said that Arizal says to look at the blue sky. It's very expansive. It helps you get away from being so caught up in the day-to-day practicalities of life. Just to expand your consciousness, very important. And we said to smell lavender oil. That just brings you down, especially when you're emotionally triggered, to bring yourself down into physicality. Maybe a piece of chocolate on your tongue. Once again, not a whole tub of Ben & Jerry's. A piece of chocolate on your tongue to bring you down, to ground you, and to make you feel pleasure, to listen to nice, soft music. So that's what we spoke about in the class, to be consciously investing in these things. But I said I'd talk a little bit about two other very important areas, which are diet and exercise. And I'm not a world expert, but I've done a lot of research in this stuff. And your diet's very, very important, because food is fuel. Food is fuel for your body. So just like you don't want to put vinegar in your Ferrari, you want to put the right gas, the right petrol in your car. You want to be putting the right thing and the right amount of stuff into your body, because that's going to give you strength and power and resourcefulness and vitality and energy. The food is meant to give you energy. So the basic rule, really Rambam, is eat healthy food when you're hungry. That's it. Very simple. When you're not hungry, you don't really need to be eating. And when you are hungry, you should try and avoid not so healthy food, because that's not going to give you the fuel, the energy that you want it to give you. Now, there's no universal rule, by the way. There's so many different diets, keto diet and protein diets. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I have seen some universal things that people speak about. And the number one thing is amount. How much are you eating? Because if you eat too much, if you stuff your stomach, it's actually very bad for you. firstly, it takes a lot of energy to digest that food. Your body's working overtime to try and digest it. Now your food is meant to give you fuel and energy, but if it's taking your energy to digest it, it's doing the opposite. So when you eat too much and you feel tired, you got to understand you did the wrong thing. When you have that cholent and you fall asleep, or you have a big lunch and you fall asleep, you've done the opposite of what the food is there for. You're meant to eat and therefore feel energized. That's what gas is meant to do. So you got to eat the right amount, and based on the Rambam, and it's actually just common sense, you should not eat more than how big your stomach is, which is about that big. He even says eat 75%. And imagine stuffing a washing machine with so many clothes. The detergent just can't get in, so you're not even going to digest the food very well if you eat too much food. So the way you have to do this is, before you start eating, put on your plate what you would consider the size of your stomach. The second thing is to then eat mindfully. When you're eating mindfully, you actually, firstly, you enjoy the food more, but secondly, you eat a little bit less. Most people, they're checking their phone whilst they got the fork and they're chewing, but they've already got the next fork loaded up with the next thing, and they're just stuffing it into their face. So you're going to eat too much, and you're not going to enjoy it as much. Our sages call it seichel versus taiva, which means rationality against desire, intellect against desire. How much you eat, rationally you shouldn't eat that much, but you'd have the desire for the food. I just want to eat it. So we've got to let our intellect rule our desire. The second reason we have to do that, by the way, is what do we crave? It's an amazing system. We usually crave things that are actually not good for us. So no one crave, well maybe, but you don't generally crave a green salad, but we crave sugar, and we crave oil, and really, universally, white sugar is really not good for you. Even it might give you a spike of energy, you're going to crash very quickly. And oily foods, we know, clots your arteries, it's not good for your heart. So if you can, you want to try and avoid those types of food. And by the way, there's sugar in everything nowadays, really. In ketchup and in everything, there's sugar, so you be very careful. The general rule is going to be that the more natural the food is, the fewer ingredients, the less processed it is, the more is good energy for your body. That's it. So really, green vegetables, once again, it's not universal. My wife actually became allergic to green vegetables a while ago for whatever reason. So you've got to work it out for yourself. But in general, green vegetables and fruit, for me citrus fruit is very bad for my stomach, but apples are good for me. Fish is generally better than meat. It's easier to digest, and it's got omega-3. It's very good for you. So to make sure that your food is as close to how God produced it, once we start getting too much involved and putting E numbers and this stuff, it actually is not good fuel for your body. The next thing we have to think about is snacking during the day. Once again, usually snacking is because we're not being mindful. We're just like, I just need something for my hands to do, I need fuel. But if you are going to snack, having a Snickers bar, you think it's going to give you your energy you need, but it's not. It's going to make you crash. So if you're going to snack, then you have carrots and you have nuts. Nuts are very good for snacking, and apples. Once again, we want to be very, very, very conscious that we're doing things, we're investing in our physicality, in our bodies, things that are actually going to help. Another small thing is to try and not eat so close to bedtime. You don't want to eat just before you go to sleep, because your sleep won't be as good, and you need good sleep, by the way. You need good sleep to feel energized. But if you eat just before you sleep, then your body's going to be digesting. So you want to, I don't eat for about 3.5 hours before I sleep. I drink lots of tea. Tea is very good. Green tea, oxidizing, it's very good. You want to have a lot of water. You need to drink first thing in the morning, drink some water, maybe with a little lemon juice, whatever. So in basic, you want to be putting the right fuel in your body. And then when it comes to exercise, it's very, very important, because you have to have vitality. You want your body to be moving. You want energy. And when you go to sleep and you're lying down and you're curled up, then sediment builds up between your vertebrae and your joints get a bit stuck. So if you get out of bed, if you don't loosen your joints and your vertebrae, you're going to be very sluggish. And by the way, during the day as well, you're sitting in front of the computer or the Gemara or whatever, and you start feeling, you've got to be very, very aware of your body. You've got to be aware of when you feel stress and tension, and you've got to release it. So just in the morning, you don't have to go to the gym for an hour just to do some arm swinging. You know what? I'm going to show you. Here we go. Feet shoulder width apart, knees slightly bent, back straight, top very loose. We want our bottom half of our body to be very grounded. My masters used to say you actually should even feel the roots of trees as if it were going into the ground. So whenever you breathe in, you're breathing up the energy of the ground. And then this, arm swing. Number one arm swing is just this. Just do this. Not too high, we're not going extreme, up to your belly button level. Don't bring your hands together. Parallel, just like this. There you go. And you can do your meditation, you can breathe. You can do your hashkata and your habata and any thoughts that are coming, you can let them go. And you can stretch your neck while you're doing it. So that's the first swing. You can do that as many times as you like. Second swing is this. And this, by the way, you're not moving your arms, you're moving your hips and your knees. And your arms are just flopping like empty coat sleeves around. And at first you can keep your head straight, or you could put your head with the swing. How about that? Put your head with the swing, then you keep your head straight, and then you go opposite the swing, like this. And this is really opening up your neck and your back and your shoulders and your hips and your knees. So just doing this in the morning is going to completely revitalize your physical being. Here's the final swing. Don't know if I have room for this, to hang down and just swing one arm over your shoulder and one arm behind your back. And it's actually a bit of a massage, and with your knees bouncing as well, like this. It's great. This is really I learned in Tai Chi and in my martial arts. This is how we warmed up. So this goes behind your back, this arm. Great. And then you can do these. There you go. And then shake it out. 2 arms and 1 leg. Jump. Okay, good. Bam. You do that for 3 minutes. You do that for 3 minutes, it will change your day. It will give you vitality. It will get your blood moving. In fact, the Rambam says we should sweat. We should sweat every day. So walk up and down your stairs 10 times. And then during the day, you've got to be mindful. So when you feel yourself getting tense and tight, just sit up and loosen your neck to the sides, gently around, twist in your chair. Twist in your chair. Expand. Once again, we spoke about the idea of meichin dekatnus, small-mindedness, restricted, constricted, and you're caught up in the details and you've got so much to do. And the idea of meichin degadlus, which is a higher perspective. So you could get your physical body, it's called your physiology. How you are breathing and how are you moving, that changes your state of mind. So just go like this. You can loosen your neck. Just this. Do that a few times. So you've got to be very aware of yourself, and that will expand yourself. So in that way, you're going to be living with a lot more vitality. You're putting the right fuel in, and you're being mindful. So you're thinking about, what am I eating? Why am I eating? How am I eating? And you're making sure that your body is loose and alive, and therefore you can be walking around living with immense vitality. And once you have immense vitality, it's easier to think more positively and feel more emotionally resourceful to deal with life. Bezrat Hashem, let's try and implement these very small things, 3 minutes a day, a little bit of mindfulness into our lives, and that would be a major shift in how we're walking through life. Bezrat Hashem.